What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Let's get right into it. Let's break down the entire betting card for Super Bowl licks, as they call it, Super Bowl 59, between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. A rematch that we once saw where Patrick Mahomes won one of his previous Super Bowls. A little bit of a revenge spot there for the Eagles as they gave up a 10-point lead. And now we look to see what's going to happen here in New Orleans. 6:30 kickoff on Sunday. It's going to be a fascinating game for all you guys out there, conspiracy theorists alike. Whether or not you want to see the Chiefs in this one, whether or not you're going to root for them, you have to admit this is the best possible outcome. It's going to be the best game that we could have had, in my personal opinion, so I'm glad to watch it. And exciting news here on the channel. This will be one that TBM Sports will be live for, as myself and Joey D will be making the trek down for a Celebrity Hall of Fame Pro-Am golf outing, followed up with some gambling live from Mississippi. And then obviously Sunday we will be spending the greater part of the day, if we are not going to the game, live from Bourbon Street. So there's going to be a lot of content. Make sure you have that notification bell turned on. Make sure you guys are all subscribed to the channel. Totally free to do so. I know this will be the last NFL video, football video for that matter, on the channel until next season. But this is actually the 1-year anniversary of TBM Sports since we started this here on YouTube. So appreciate all my subscribers. This is one where never thought I could get this far. And each and every one of you guys that do tune in, message me on Discord, all that good stuff. It's been really fun to see this thing build, and I'm glad to do it. And let's get right into it, because this is probably going to be one of the more exciting Super Bowls in my personal opinion. I'm going to break down the props I like, the side, the total, the sharp action, as well as some of the novelty bets that are offered for Super Bowl weekend. So make sure you stick around to the end. Also, feel free to drop me a comment. I will be on a 16-hour drive. We are going to go live in the car ride, but we will be going live, and also I will be responding to all those comments. I wanted to get this video out for you guys in enough time that you will have this before Super Bowl Sunday. So good luck on your bets, and let's get right into it right now. Okay, so we are going to use Outlier to break this down. If you guys want to sign up with that, you should be betting with it anyways. If not for NFL, but if you're an NBA bettor, for finding the best props out there, best numbers, really is the best betting tool out there in the marketplace. I do believe that. Link down below for a 7-day free trial. Try it out. If you don't like it, you can cancel. No questions asked. Okay, so before we get down into the, I guess you would call it the meat and potatoes of the Super Bowl, where we talk about the numerous props offered, I do want to talk about some betting insights, and let's get into those right away, okay, before we hit the numbers. And first and foremost, if we look at what happened in the previous game, we will talk about that a little bit. It is a different data point, but it is one that I do want to talk about, okay? But the under has hit in 5 of the last 5 games for KC against top 10 scoring defenses. Also, the Chiefs come in 13-0 in their last 13 games as a favorite, and the Eagles, conversely, 6-0 against the spread against top 10 scoring defenses, okay? Full disclosure, guys, I don't have any futures out. I do have a pretty decent bet on Saquon Barkley MVP that I made with some positive value, so I'm not going to let that distract me or influence my bet for this game. However, if he does bring home that hardware, it most likely would result in the Eagles winning this game. Also, the only other bet right now I have in pocket is I do have a 250-1 on Harrison Butker to win MVP. A little bit of pizza money. So if you guys are out there, you want to find a sports book, shop around. You just never know, okay? We saw the Brady game with Matthew Stafford, 9-6, I believe, or 10-6, something real low scoring. You just really, quite frankly, never know if the field goal kicking will have that much of an influence. And, you know, albeit the personal views and the debacle within Harrison Butker, I'm not going to trust Jake Elliott in this spot, but I do think this is something where if we do get a lot of field goal kicking, I love Harrison Butker going over 1.5 field goals. You can see why it's juiced up this week, minus 160. But I think this is a spot where if he kicks the game winner, he makes 4 field goals. You just never know. If there's only other one score and maybe a lower yardage output for the passing game, and we get a defensive slugfest that just results in a lot of field goals, why not have a $20 ticket at 250-1 to bring home $5K for Harrison Butker MVP? Don't say I didn't tell you so. Probably unlikely it will hit, but I would feel pretty remiss and guilty if I did not share that with you guys. So that's what I have going on in kind of that long shot area. Also, 2 of my favorite bets within the Super Bowl that are offered, the Octopus bet, as well as what we have within a scoregami, an unforeseen, never happened before score in the Super Bowl. I'm not betting that, but I will have a little sprinkle on the Octopus, just because of the fact that I do think that we have a couple avenues where not only do we have Mahomes possibility, Kareem Hunt possibility, Kelsey possibility, but more likely it's going to be Saquon Barkley and Jalen Hurts, where you would score the touchdown, and then you would also subsequently follow that up with the 2-point conversion. I think with all the tush-push capability, you have to bet the Octopus. I know it's kind of a sucker bet, if you will, but it's one that I do feel pretty strongly about. And food for thought, Saquon Barkley had one of the 9 Octopi cash if you were able to bet in the regular season. I don't think you are, but it's just something that I think is exclusive to bigger games formatted, okay? But he did hit that once in the regular season, so keep that in mind because the tush push is live. Okay, so let's break down this game from a side and total standpoint. I have to tell you guys, if you would ask me right now at face value who I'm rooting for, I probably would tell you to three-peat. I respect greatness. I want to see that happen. Also, I do feel that it's very much in line with kind of where I'm at. Right in my gut that the Eagles are the better team. They're the better offensive line. They just don't have Mahomes. And quite frankly, they don't have the better coach. So that's kind of where I stand on this. If you ask me, like I said, I think the Eagles get this one done. My gut's telling me it's going to be an Eagles convincing win, or otherwise it's going to be the 14th game in a row that the Chiefs win by 1 score and they go for the three-peat, and we get to see a whole hell of a lot of Taylor Swift post-game. So that's kind of where I stand on all that. Let me know in the comments, which side are you on? I think at this point in the season, if anybody tells you they know who's winning the Super Bowl, they're either crazy, they hate Mahomes and the Chiefs, or, they're just riding that horse, and they just think that it doesn't really matter the numbers, and there's no way the Chiefs are going to lose this game, kind of like the Brady rules, okay? I had a rule way back when. You never bet against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. We lost a few, but we won more than we lost, so keep that in mind, okay? And I do tell you guys one of my Super Bowl rules as well. If you are going to bet this game, there is no point spread, okay? I don't care if it's 4.5, 7.5. You bet the team to win the game, and if you have to lay $40,000 to win $20,000, it's the way you bet the Super Bowl. That was passed down for me a long time ago. I'm not saying that I advocate for that, but that's just kind of my rule, okay? So keep that in mind if you're looking at these plus 1.5s. That may be the only other avenue where I don't agree with it is if you like the underdog. You could grab some points at minus 110 or whatever you can find. It's something as simple as that, but there are a lot of avenues too where why not take that plus Eagles money? Also, live betting opportunities. That's something else you can see. Me personally, the way I see the game script playing out is I think we get a lot of punts. I think we might get two punts in the first quarter, and that will lead me kind of into my mentality and mindset that I think this will be a first half under. Right now, you can find that under 24.5. If you had to put a gun to my head and ask me which side that I like, I do like the under for the full game as well. I think that what Spagnuolo is going to do on a defensive side, as well as taking Saquon out of the game. This is going to be something where I think it will be lower scoring affair, especially with the way that these teams like to play. The pace of play for both teams, if you will. A lot of play clocks exhausted. I think that we get a lot of stalled drives, a lot of field goals, and it's kind of all correlating right now as we're building up to the props, okay? I don't have a play one way or the other. Like I said, guys, if you had to force me to bet it, I'm on the Eagles. Would not shock me if the Chiefs won. This is going to be something where maybe when I do get to the casino and I place my bet on Sunday, because the line won't move at all, okay? It won't move at all. You're never going to see a 3, and that's just kind of where you're going to have sharps on both sides, so keep that in mind. This is one of the rare occasions where you don't have to wait late if you do like taking, unders and so to speak. It's more for props, okay? But if you want the 1.5, the best you're going to do is a 2, maybe 2.5, and I just don't really think that's going to be an issue because I think, like I said, guys, it's all about the money lines in the Super Bowl. Okay, so let's hit the props. First and foremost, I do want to talk, and we're not going to go in any specific order, but I will tell you guys kind of where I'm at. Okay, this is where we're going to look at the game, and I think it's kind of important to start off by talking about what actually we're looking at, and that's where we're going to talk about kind of where the handle is. All right, like I said, the Chiefs minus 1.5 point favorites, total set at 48.5. We do have kind of equal money on both sides, a tick over if we want to look at the handle being the more of a betting splits perspective. The over would be more of a sharper play, if you will, as well as taking the Eagles and the Chiefs on the money line, okay? But not enough to make it one way or another where it's out of balance, where it's going to make me think there's some sharps in the know. and that's how I feel about it. Okay, so let's get into the matchup. We're not going to break down stats. If you don't know these two teams by now, quite frankly, you probably didn't watch any football, but by all betting accounts, we all know the storylines, right? And I am going to tell you guys one very important betting trend that I hope you guys carry with you, because if it does prove true, the Eagles will be victorious. Okay, I have no vested rooting interest. Outside of having some sports cards that would go up dramatically in value if Mahomes brings it home. Outside of that, I really could care less, unless all I care about is cashing my ticket, and that's kind of where I'm at, all right? But one thing I want to tell you guys is, since 2003, I heard this. This is not mine. I'm not going to take credit for it. Since 2003, we have had 10 occurrences where the number one seed was playing a team that did not not a number one seed, but a first-round bye team was playing a team that did not receive a first-round bye. Now, in those 10 matchups, okay, the record is pretty much lopsided. It is, I believe it's 0-9 in terms of the spread, 1-9 ATS, and 1-9 with the money line, and 0-10 ATS. Okay, so what that means is the team that had the first round bye, that played a team that never had a bye and just played all the games naturally, the team that plays all the games and doesn't have the layoff, has a very convincingly good shot. This has happened 10 times, okay? So by that account, it does mean fly, Eagles, fly, all right? So take it for what it's worth. Trends are meant to be broken. Just because a roulette wheel shows 10 reds in a row doesn't mean spin 11 is going to be red as well. It's something where it doesn't correlate, but it feels like it does, and that's kind of the beauty of sports betting, okay? But into the picks, let's look at it first and foremost. We're going to go right to the big man, okay? One thing I do want to point out is Travis Kelce is very, very very big benefactor of this Philadelphia Eagles defense. Great secondary, great on the perimeter, not so much over the middle. So when we talk about this, guys, receiving for the likes of Travis Kelce, we are going to break down receiving first. It'll be much easier. Okay, so receiving yards. This is where I like Travis Kelce going over 59.5 on FanDuel. He didn't hit that last week, but I think this is one where it sets up very, very nicely for Travis Kelce. And if we look head-to-head, okay, dating back to that last appearance in November of 2023, he only had 44 yards, so we'll take that for a grain of salt. I do think playoff Kelce will prove true, and this is kind of where I'm at. I like Travis Kelce over 59.5, staying away from his receptions, but I do like the receiving yards quite a bit. Okay. Next, I want to talk about another man that we are going to be on, and we'll keep this one all Chiefs for the time being, and this will be alongside the likes of DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins over 1.5 receptions at plus 126. One of my favorite bets on the card. Last week was kind of an outlier as you look at it. Only one grab, 0 against Houston, but if you look at the regular season, guys, eclipsing this in pretty much every single game. I think as a veteran and one of the more trusted receivers, I know he's going to be kind of inhibited on the outside, but I do look for DeAndre Hopkins to have success in at least 2 grabs. I'm not going to bet the yardage. However, at 11.5, it is kind of juicy if you do want to take that as well, okay? Another one that I do want to kind of shed some light on is Juju Smith-Schuster. Okay, we saw him last week going against the Bills, and he had that big grab. And that's something where if you look into his receptions, you can see it right here at 1.5. You can find on DK at minus 119. This is something where I think that's no real value, but I do think he gets utilized a lot more in this matchup in a big time spot. I think that Mahomes is going to rely on some improvisation, and what better way not to do that within veteran receiving core such as Juju and DeAndre Hopkins, and his number one target within Travis Kelce. Also, if we do want to talk and stay with the tight end realm of things, I do think that Noah Gray, in terms of receptions, over 1.5 at plus 120 is another good plus money bet that I do like out there in the market. Also, him longest reception, I do like that one quite a bit if we're going to stay within the tight ends, okay? Next, we're going to switch gears, and we're going to go on the Eagles side of the ball. This is something where a lot of people have been talking about. Jahan Dotson just needs one grab. One grab, you cash a ticket. I'm not going to do it. I think there's better value elsewhere. We're going to stay away from that one, so I'm staying away from the Jahan Dotson. I also do like some Dallas Goedert. It's a little bit of a chalky play due to the Kansas City Chiefs being the worst-ranked team against the tight end position. on defense, albeit they have a really good defense. I think they take Saquon out of the game. Stacked box leaves a lot of opportunities. I don't really trust Jalen Hurts. I also think McDuffie's going to lock down A.J. Brown under his number. So that's kind of where it would lead me to Dallas Goedert and the likes of the next guy we're going to talk about, Devonta Smith, being one of the recipients of the way the Chiefs are going to play defense. So I do like some Goedert over 49.5 receiving yards, okay? But if we are going to talk Devonta Smith, we talk about how good Kansas City is against the receiving element of offenses. You have to kind of understand something. Devonta Smith plays the slot, and slot receivers have an absolute heyday going against the Chiefs in that Spagnolia front. So I do think that there's something to be said about Devonta Smith over 49.5 yards. One of the bets I like as well. He hit this 4 games in a row. If we look at the head-to-head action back on that November game against the Chiefs in 2023, he had 99 yards. I know this is years ago, but it is something where it is a data point that I do find relevant in just the way that they're going to be looking to attack the Eagles in terms of stopping the run, and the outside leaves a lot of room for Goedert and Devonta Smith. That's just kind of where my head's at in schematically how they're going to play the receivers for Philadelphia. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit, let's get away from the receiving and let's talk some special teams for a second. And this is where we're going to look into kind of the element that we touched upon a little bit earlier about Harrison Butker, okay, and whether or not you're going to follow me and tail me on that MVP little sprinkle. But Harrison Butker made field goals, and please shop around because some offerings do offer Chiefs total field goals. So if Butker unforeseen gets a running into the kicker, becomes inactive for the rest of the game, you can find Harrison Butker or Chiefs field goals made over 1.5. I think this is 1 during the game, possibly 1 in overtime. There's numerous ways that this comes down, and I do like it right now. The best number you can find is minus 160. I know Prize Picks is offered there, but minus 160 BetMGM is the best bet out there that you can find in more of a traditional sports book, okay? So that's where I'm at from special teams. If you stick with me to the end of this video, I will share with you guys kind of my thoughts on some of the novelty bets as well that we're going to kind of segue into. But if we want to talk another bet that I do like in the touchdown market, I'm going to stay away from the touchdowns. However, I do want to play me another week of Kareem Hunt, first time, anytime touchdown scorer. Also, I don't mind if we sprinkle on this just from a pure value standpoint. If we go down the board a little bit, you can find Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes ran for 2 in the postseason. He really takes things into his own, like I talked about, improvisation. He takes it in his own hands, and I think Patrick Mahomes will go over his rushing attempts. That's one of my favorite bets in terms of rushing. Patrick Mahomes over rushing attempts because of the kneels, because of the potential that they try to mimic the Eagles and beat them at their own game. I think that we may see a Patrick Mahomes tush push. Would not surprise me one bit with Andy Reid and his creativity. But Patrick Mahomes over 0.5, going to get 1 touchdown at plus 400 on FanDuel. That's one of the bets that I do like quite a bit in the touchdown market. And that's pretty much it for touchdowns that I'm willing to dive into. Okay, so pretty much Kareem Hunt anytime, first time, as well as Patrick Mahomes getting into the end zone once will kind of round out where I'm at within all that. Okay. Full disclosure, I am going to go full screen with this because we are not going to need Outlier to talk about this. I am fading Saquon Barkley. I'm fading A.J. Brown. If they sting me, great. There's plenty of bets out there that I don't need to get into the public numbers. It's way overinflated. So if I was going to bet A.J. Brown or Saquon Barkley, I would be happily betting the under. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But that's just kind of how you have to treat it, in my personal opinion. Okay. But one more thing about the rushing side of it, okay? I'm staying away from the backfields on both sides. Like I said, trust me, there's bets that I would love to be betting with Saquon. I'm going to stay away from that. But like I said, guys, the one bet outside of Mahomes' rushing attempts that I do like, and right now his rushing attempts, just so you guys are all aware, is 5.5 on FanDuel, minus 102. Probably, maybe, possibly my favorite bet on the entire card. I would actually like to bet the Patrick Mahomes over 5.5 rushing attempts at even money. And if we do get a flat 5 anywhere that's juiced up pretty much under minus 150, I would be laying the absolute house on this. This would be probably my favorite bet in the history of the Super Bowl. If we do get this one to happen, he's going to have 5 rushes in scrambling with the potential for kneel downs at half and in centering the field goal in overtime. We got centering the field goal late in the game, or just expiring the clock for another Chiefs three-peat. Okay, so that's how I feel about it. The last one I want to talk about is the Xavier Worthy rushing yards is 5.5. We cashed this last week. I still like this. I think they want to kind of get away from that Eagles front and look to establish the run, spread them out a little bit. They're going to want to run to the sidelines. So jet sweeps for Xavier Worthy, I do like. I won't be betting it, though, in terms of 5.5 on rushing yards, because he could have 2 rushing attempts, and we could see one go for 10 yards, and then we could have a loss of 6 and then lose our bet if he gets snagged in the backfield. So if we are going to get in this, I will be betting the Xavier Worthy over 1.5 rushing attempts at plus 115. Probably one of my favorite bets out there as well, if we want to get down that avenue. Okay, so that pretty much does it. That wraps up my entire breakdown. I will tell you guys that I will post on Discord what I end up betting with in terms of the final official game. But I do want to talk about some of the novelty things before I let you guys go. And by doing so, we are going to be bringing up my favorite bet. It's not going to be the coin toss. It's not going to be heads or tails. What we're going to be talking about is the length of the national anthem, Star Spangled Banner, to kick off the festivities. We do get a jazz pianist from New Orleans, very much going to be New Orleans-centric here in Super Bowl 59. And that's kind of where it leads me to taking the under, if you can find it. You can't offer it in the United States, but if you are able to dabble in other markets far, far away, if you know what I'm talking about, that's kind of where I would lean towards the under for the Star Spangled Banner as being one of my favorite bets as well. I watched a YouTube video. These tend to go a little bit quicker once you get under the big lights, unless you're trying to make some kind of statement or put the stars on you. It really, in my opinion, goes under. And I watched it on YouTube. So know the house rules, know when it starts, know when it stops. But I did watch the YouTube video of one of his appearances, and in singing this same exact song, he did it on a piano and it was well under 2 minutes. And right now you can find that prop set at 1:58 last time I checked. So I will be taking the under within John Baptiste. Going under Star Spangled Banner duration. Okay, so that'll about wrap it up. Thank you guys for all tuning in. I know this was a longer video, but there was a lot of content. If you guys are on Discord, I will post all of these on there as well. Also, feel free to leave me a comment. Let me know what you guys will be betting down below in the description, or I'm sorry, in the comments. And I may even put my plays actually in the description of this video, so make sure you circle back. And if you don't see them, just leave me a comment. Like I said, I'll put them up a little bit later after the first wave of people get to watch this. But I wanted to get this video out for you guys before these numbers move too much. Okay, so we're not going to go into the Swifties. I know DraftKings has a whole Taylor Swift segment within their app and website. That's fantastic. It's going to make a lot of volume, a lot of public money on those bets, but stick to what you guys know. You guys are good at this stuff. We've been doing it all season. We don't really need to dabble into that outside of some pizza money or just for fun, or if you want to bet for your girlfriend or significant other, that's fine, but those are usually losing propositions. Okay, so I appreciate you guys all being part of the team. We'll see you guys next football season, and of course, we'll be covering all sports here on the channel. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe down below, and make sure you have that notification bell turned on, where we will be having a lot of live content straight from New Orleans come this weekend. All right, appreciate you guys. We'll see you all in the next video. Peace.